Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Ready to Love Season 11, Episode 2. A little bit of a late review, but not denied, and it is a welcome distraction. I am in South Carolina. Can't remember if I ever shared with y'all, but my stepdad has been battling cancer since 2023, and we have just hit a bit of a rough patch. So I'm in South Carolina for child, I don't know how long. But I am here with my mom and really supporting her. My entire family, but my mom mainly. So just keep him in your prayers. Every day is a waiting game, but we are believing in a miracle. We need a miracle. So doing this review is actually a welcome distraction for sure. Did I already say I hope y'all are doing good today? I'm doing well. Okay, great. So let's jump into the review. You guys know this is a second chance mixer, which I'm going to talk about that second chance in a minute. But let's get to it. I'm doing a lot of multitasking, so y'all will hear me driving in the background. But we pick up with, we actually picked up where we left off, and Nephew Tommy is letting everybody know that they are going to be going to the second chance mixer. And so he gathers everybody together at the second chance and informs them at that time that one woman and one man will be going home. Now, I want to give my thoughts really quick on the whole second chance thing. First of all, I like it, right? We do not like to see people eliminated on the first episode. We have been saying it for a long time, and I'm really glad that the producers or whoever are hearing the people when they say, we don't like that. Now, while I do feel like the second chance mixer is a bit of a plot twist, we also didn't like introducing 10 and then introducing another 10 later. Like, everybody needs to meet each other at the same time. So cool. They don't do that anymore. But while I do like the second chance mixer, and if it's something that they're going to keep around for a while, I can dig it. I don't have too many complaints. My only issue with it was I felt like people were more focused on being eliminated than they were just trying to enjoy themselves. And it is a competition, so yes, you do want to be aware that you have to meet with everybody and mingle with everybody, but it almost felt like, all right, I'm under the gun, like I got to put my best foot forward, I'm nervous, I'm sweating, please don't delete me, please don't please don't eliminate me, I want to stay to the next round. That's what it kind of felt like, but all in all, I like the idea of it. If I had to choose, I would choose this versus somebody being eliminated. So, after he lets everybody know what the new rules are, everybody sets off to take their second chance, right? So immediately, one of the first things that got pointed out was Devon. Y'all remember they said Devon showed up like a Bible study teacher. But not anymore. Devon showed up. He had on a full suit. He had his sunglasses on. And a lot of the ladies were like, Devon really... I don't know. He kind of stepped it up a little bit different. He ain't looking like how he was looking at the other mixer. So he has a couple of eyes on him this time around just for his appearance. Another person who had some of the ladies' eye was Cardi. Okay, so the two of the most awkward ones there were the ones who actually put on a much better first impression, and I'm glad. I like Devon. I really did not want to see him have to go home. That's my problem, y'all. I always like them weird, quirky men. And then when they get to acting slow later, I'll be like, well, what's wrong with you? You knew something was wrong with him already, girl. Anyway, but I don't think nothing wrong with Devon. I do think he did say he was nervous and he knows that it can get a little bit awkward. He even tells some of the ladies that. And so this time he really wants them to see him in another light. And I think he succeeded at doing that. Cardi seemed a lot more relaxed as well. He really only, to me, froze up with that one girl. And I think he froze up a little bit with, I'm trying to remember, but with the one girl that he actually was attracted to last episode, he froze up a lot with her, which I think maybe he gets nervous around women he finds to be like maybe his type. I don't know. What do y'all think? Now, who's not doing as well is Richie. Richie is not putting on the best impression, not giving the best impression with the ladies. He makes a comment to Dominique like, "Oh, you need to smile, or you need to work on smiling, or something along those lines." And Dominique was so not impressed, and she continued to not be impressed throughout the mixer. Richie actually comes off to me as a person who, like, he wants to talk to a group of women. Like, he wants to see, you ever been out with your homegirls, and it feels weird talking about him because he is not with us any longer. He did pass away from a motorcycle incident, for those who don't know. So I don't know, it just makes it kind of sad. You guys are going to hear noise around me because now I'm back in the waiting room, and it's a bit noisy today. So just try to bypass it as much as you can. But yeah, it feels weird talking about him, but he strikes me as the type that, like, would come up to you and your homegirls and make all y'all laugh and just kind of see which one of y'all going, which one of y'all feeling his charm. He gonna entertain the whole group. That's what he was given more so at the mixer than, like, one-on-one time, if you will. He also makes a comment about having like 1,000 girlfriends, like homegirls, 1,000 homegirls. And of course, Dominique, I told y'all, she continued to be unimpressed. So she was like, 1,000? He said, let's work on not taking everything I say literally, which, child, because she already didn't like you. So there's that. But he doesn't put on such a great impression with most of the ladies. So before we even get into the episode good, somebody already getting eliminated, child. So nephew Tyler Perry goes to grab the women and asks them who they feel have been stepping it up and who hasn't. Unfortunately, Richie and Xavier are the two who the ladies feel like, not really sure if we're into them or not, for various reasons, right? So he calls the two of them out. And before he leaves the women, hold on, let me add this in. Before he leaves the women, he gonna say, now let me walk off. Let me leave with masculinity. Excuse me. I don't know how many times we gotta tell nephew Tyler Perry, this ain't about you. Don't nobody care about you leaving with masculinity, because one of the ladies mentioned that Richie was not coming off as masculine as she would like. And is that going to be the word for the season? Because I feel like masculinity got tossed around on this episode a good 4 or 5 times. So is that going to be the season word? Spare me. So he calls them to the front and lets them know what the lady said. And Richie is appalled. Richie absolutely cannot believe that anybody would say he not masculine. He a stepper in real life, he said. And he said he's been with thousands of women, which doesn't really say anything about masculinity, but I get where he's going with it. Xavier got put on the chopping block because he had a conversation with Emily. And in that conversation, Emily expressed that she's not sure if Xavier has time for love based on what he was saying. I personally felt like Xavier was talking about why he has found himself a single man in this position right now, not so much as what he's still doing today. So nephew Tyler Perry was like, well, do you got time? I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't. Now, y'all notice he never did say he had time. But I do believe that when he was talking to Emily, that's what he was trying to get at. But he didn't really get the opportunity to. In the end, it's Richie who ends up getting eliminated. And then after that, we move forward with the rest of the mixer because one lady has to go home as well. Like I said before, we see multiple instances where Cardi does well, particularly with Emily, as well as with Dominique. I think they engaged well, and there was a lot of heavy flirtation. He put his arm around her. So he's definitely making a better impression the second time around. We also see Devon engage with Emily. They find out they both love music and the opera and the arts, and he says he does a lot of dope things. But I want to talk about the interaction he had with Dominique because it was funny. So as they're talking, and I do think Devon was doing a good job of engaging with the women, being interested in what they had to say, really trying to cater his conversation to what they like and their hobbies. Even him and Diamond even made a potential future date, to go to some things that Diamond likes to do. And so when he was talking to Dominique, first of all, I can tell Dominique is like an older girl. She flirts like one. Like, I always notice, like, with older women, myself included, because I consider myself to be of an, not old, but like an older, I'm getting up there, okay? I'm not no spring chicken. So I definitely flirt with a lot of, like, eye contact, a lot of laughter, very get up under you type of energy. That's what Dominique gives. And baby, them young boys love it.
They be so flattered by all of that. So anyway, she's talking to him, and they're talking about various things. He talks about how he's tried to come a little bit differently, and how he's into some of the things that she's into. And he was like, "Oh, can I do this?" And he was like, "Oh, what did she say? I feel like you trying to." Did she say she felt like he was trying to push up on her or something along those lines? And she was kind of, very close to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm feeling it. Oh, I know what it was. Look at me. Need to take some notes." She had told him he had something on his face and asked if she could get it. And Devon was just like, "Yeah, I'm here for all of that. You can do whatever you want. Like, you could." And she was like, "Okay, is this all right with you?" So they were flirting. And for some reason, Devon felt like they were engaging enough that he could go in for a kiss. And she was like, "Was you about to kiss me?" And he was like, yes. So he says in his confessionals, like, he thought the moment was there, they were alone, and he realized that it was not the right moment. And I'm so glad she did not go for none of that. She was like, "You ain't even took me out on a date or nothing." And he said, "You know what? You're right. It's all coming. Don't worry about it." I said, "Devon, now what the hell? This ain't no fairy tale movie. You can't just be going in for no kiss. Talk about the moment felt right. You just met this woman, number one. There are other people in the room, number two. This is the second chance mixer. It is not the time for you to get to tonguing somebody down. Control your loins." Now, while we see multiple ladies knocking it out of the park, we see a few ladies who are struggling, and Ashante, I hope I'm saying her name right, and Diamond are two of the women who are. Now, Ashante says that she's a person who takes a while to open up, and some of her conversations with the gentlemen, I guess they are kind of getting the vibe they're not sure if Ashante is feeling them or not. She talks to Devon, and Devon did ask her a weird question, like, "What do you think about me?" Because he says in his confessionals he's trying to see if Ashante finds him attractive, but that is a turnoff to just walk up to a woman and be like, "What do you think about me?" The look, like, what do you think? And granted, like, maybe you can take it and maybe you just like that kind of feedback, but I don't know. I don't think that would be appealing to any woman. So I don't even think that was on Ashante. If you didn't know what to say to her, if you felt like your conversation wasn't going well or she wasn't interested, I would have simply asked her some of her interest and maybe moved on to one of the other ladies versus asking that question, because I think anybody wouldn't really, unless they just thought you was super fine, you wouldn't really know how to answer that. And she ends up saying, like, women aren't really into looks as much as men, which I want some of y'all to quit telling that lie. I mean, maybe you not. And I wouldn't say that I am either, but let's just, But she does make a good point that we are more interested in, like, your charisma, if you're confident. And I will say that, Devon, that was not, to me, a question that a confident person would ask. Like, "What do you think of me?" Like, rate. He didn't say rate me, but it felt like rate me. So yeah, that interaction was awkward. But some of the other gentlemen also say they're not really sure, like, about how the conversation goes with her. Overall, I really don't think Diamond did that bad interacting with the gentleman. Sometimes it came off a bit interviewy, which I want to commend Emily, even though she cut Xavier off immediately, like, "Oh, he ain't got time." I do think Emily did a much better job at being more personable this mixer. And I do feel like Diamond came off as personable as well, but sometimes it felt as if maybe she was just trying to get down to the, I don't know. I can't really, I'm not doing a good job of describing how I felt about Diamond, but I don't think she was I don't think that she wasn't personable. I do think she was. It just, maybe for some of the gentlemen, it just wasn't giving a, like, "I want to be interested in you romantically," more like, "Let me screen you and see if this is going to work the way I would like it to." Maybe. I'm not explaining it right, y'all. I'm sorry. This is not a good review. But anyway, she sits down to try to talk to Chris, because Chris is one of the gentlemen that she hasn't spoken to. She did have a good conversation with Devon, like I said earlier. But when it comes to Chris, and I think even when it came to Xavier, those conversations did not go that well. Mainly with Chris, the issue was Xavier, it was just an awkward conversation. But with Chris, the issue was that other women came in and they were chiming in. And when they asked to borrow Chris for a minute, like, even Christina, she was smelling all on the man and was like, "Ooh, he smelled good. Can I borrow him from you for a second?" And she was like, "No, not right now." And it was very matter of fact. And Christina says to her, okay, well, I'll give her another minute because she might need it. There's no need to be catty, love. She was just saying she hadn't had a chance to talk to the man. But it doesn't even matter because Dominique comes and plops down, don't say excuse me or nothing, and begins just asking Chris questions like leather or suede, ass or titties. I'm like, what kind of childish conversation is this? And Chris is answering with no problem because I do want to point out, Diamond, that Chris did not... He wasn't making it seem like he needed a moment alone with you the way you were making it seem like you needed a moment alone with him. He was letting them women pop right in and plop right down. So, yeah, I don't even know if it was worth all of that. But in the end, two ladies do have to go home. And Ashante and Diamond were the two that were on the chopping block. In the end, the gentlemen decide that it is going to be Diamond that goes home. They don't feel enough of a romantic connection to her. Ashanti, although the conversations were awkward, she must have some prospects out there. So she does admit that she's more of an observer and she can be very introverted. So it's just something she's going to have to work on throughout the process, which I understand. Diamond says, maybe her person just isn't here. She doesn't take it harshly. I would have loved to see Diamond interact a little bit more, but we got what we wanted, y'all. They did not eliminate people the first episode, so I guess I can't be too upset. I know this review wasn't that great. I'm sorry. It's just a lot going on. And honestly, the show wasn't that meaty either, but you guys, I'm sure I forgot some things. If I did, I apologize. And continue to pray for my family. We are looking for a miracle of large of large proportion, y'all. Seriously. But thank you so much for listening, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all for the next video. I'm gonna try to see if I can squeeze in Love and Marriage Huntsville, possibly, with all they foolishness. Anyway, thank you guys so much and appreciate your support. See you for the next one. Bye.